back to another Iceman series segment. This is Iceman John Bailey. I wanted to do a quick review on my VXR 28. Back in November of last year, the shop picked up a 28 and a 31.5 axle-to-axle bow. And the only reason why I didn't go with the 28 in 2019 is because I was assuming that it was the same as the Triax. And don't get me wrong, the Triax is a really good bow, but the riser was too short on the Triax. That's what steered me away from this VXR 28 in the beginning. I really didn't pay attention to the actual length of the riser. I was just basing it on the same bow or a real similar bow as the Triax, because like a Triax had a really short riser, and to be honest with you, I struggled with that bow. I really struggled with that bow, shooting it from 40 yards out. I was just struggling really bad. And if your actual your actual form is different, is a little bit different every time, you'd be shooting all over the place with that Triax. At least that's what I was doing. And this bow here, like I said, I haven't even completely set this bow up yet. I'm waiting on my my HHA, my Tetra, my new Tetra to come in from my brother in Christ, Chris Ham. Wait for that to come in. I just put this little basic sight on here just to play around with the bow, because I put some new strings and cables on here, which is the premium, the ABB premium bow strings and cables. This is like an ambush green color and black strings and cables. It ended up being real slick after I put them on. But like I said, most of my bows I do put on premium strings because I really like ABB strings. But like I said, the riser, looking at the riser here on how long it is, dealing with a 28 inches axle, this is a really deep limbs on this bow. And if you actually come up with the riser a little bit, you can still get back to 30 inches axle to axle. But by them having this bow at 28 inches axle to axle, that's incredible. But like I said, looking at the riser with this bow, and when you shoot it, I realize you don't really know that you're shooting a 28 inches axle to axle bow, because the riser is only like 1.5 inches shorter than my Vertix. So that's one reason why I decided to go with this bow. After I really examined the bow and found out that this bow is very shootable, it's very accurate, and to me it's just like the Vertix, where once you shoot it, it's real stable to be such a short axle to axle. But like I said, over the years I really didn't pay attention to the riser as much as I have recently, because if you have a really good riser, a really good length on the riser, it doesn't really matter what the limbs look like. But as long as that riser is long enough, that bow is very shootable. I mean, it is very shootable. But like I said, to me, the Triax, the riser was just entirely too short for me. And that's one reason why I struggled really bad with that bow, is because the riser was just too short. But by this riser being short, just 1.5 inches shorter than on my Vertix, doesn't really make a difference. And like I said, this VXR 28 is a quieter bow than the 31.5, and it's definitely a quieter bow than my Vertix. I never thought I would say that I would like a bow better than my Vertix, but I do like the VXR 28 definitely better than my bow. But like I said, what I'm going to do this year, I have the ABB premium strings on here, and I'm going to put the all-new sight from HHA Sports, the new Tetra with the new ring housing. That's pretty cool how they did that. And I have the Fuse Torch FX. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to have a 1 ounce weight on this 6-inch stabilizer, and also by me having that Tetra on here. That Tetra's, I think it's going to be like 2 or 3 ounces. 4 ounces, I can't remember, but by that being on the front of my bow, that'll actually help push the bow forward after I shoot. And the 1 ounce stabilizer weight is just 6 inch on this, like I said, on this Fuse FX. It'll just tilt the bow after I shoot just forward. I mean, just a little bit. That's all I really want. I don't want the bow to go forward too fast for me, because mainly, even when I'm out at when I'm at full draw and I'm shooting at a distance here, 60, 70, 80 yards, I don't want that bow to be doing this, because when a bow is real heavy to me, I had the tendency to want to drop my bow. And I don't want to put any back weight on here, because I don't need to, because first of all, I don't shoot with a quiver. So when I'm in a stand, I always take my quiver off. But like I said, this is just a starting product of this bow here, and I'm waiting on that HHA Tetra to get here. But like I said, I am going to hunt with this 6 inch Fuse stabilizer. And I like the new design, this enhanced stabilizer system in the front. It does work pretty good. And also I like the cutout on the riser. And once again, the finish, this green, this ambush green finish it's incredible on what they did with the finish. But it's amazing. I mean, even 6 inch brace height here, it just feels like it's a longer brace height, because the limb pockets, once again, is so wide. That's one cool thing I like about this here, this design. And going all the way back to my Halon 6, I was talking about that, where the limb pockets were so wide, where you at full draw with bulky clothes on, you still keep the string away from your arm. You won't even hit your arm. That's one cool thing about it, because I had an encounter one year where I drew on a buck, and my clothes were so bulky on my upper body. When I released the string, my string hit my arm, because my clothes were so bulky. But that's one cool thing about this. You can get away with hunting with this bow in the winter, because even when you're at, like I said, when you're at full draw, you have about 3 inches away from your neck and arm. So you can at least have 1 inch away from your bulky clothes. But like I said, as long as you have a good form, and when you're shooting your bow, don't always change your form. Try to shoot again, but try to keep that same consistent form every time you shoot, because when you keep changing your form, you're not only throwing the arrow off, or you're not only shooting high, low, left, right, you're just going to confuse yourself, especially after you get in that tree stand. But learn how to just draw back, same form, to be consistent. Because a lot of times what I would do, I would draw the bow back. Let me go ahead and try to draw this thing back. The bow kind of stiff. First of all, let me stick my arrow on here. I'm going to shoot the Maxima Red 350s this year, like I've been shooting since my Halon 6. And I just can't get away from these things. So when you draw your bow back, it's just rock solid. I mean, it's just rock solid. Here's a rock solid back wall. And I have never shot a bow, like I said, next to the Verdicts and the VXR 31.5. Those are the only 2 bows that I've shot that was that quiet. But this bow here, the VXR 28, is the quietest bow I ever shot. But let me share something with you. To really be successful when you're talking about hunting bucks, like I've harvested, like I said, 33 shooters so far, and it's just been a blessing. It's not a bragging thing for me. It's just a blessing from God to be able to have a gift to be able to do that. But anyway, one thing about this VXR 28, when they designed this bow here, they designed this bow because they say, okay, first of all, they call string jumpers, where you have like the Impala and some deer. So they said, okay, let's design something that's super quiet, shock free in the hand, and super fast. And they did it because me personally, I like all kinds of bows, but when you're talking about shooting a bow, when you talk about hunting with a bow, why buy a bow just because it's cool looking? Some guys buy a bow because it's cool looking. They're not worried about the sound. They're thinking, oh, it's kind of loud, but I'm gonna add all types of silencers to it, and then go ahead and just go in the woods. Because let me tell you, I had a bow one year. It was a Bowtech bow, and also I forgot to add, stay hydrated. It was a Bowtech bow. I got in the woods one day, and this nice buck came through. He had him in like 180 inches. So I got set up. On this buck, and I was hunting a spot where it was just more so of just rolling hills. So I got set up on this like a crescent next to this hill, and it was just like a funnel to my right. And these deer would funnel out through this particular spot. They would come out and start milling around feeding. So I had my Bowtech Insanity, and I was just fascinated with the speed, not even paying attention to the sound. Okay, let me say something to you. This buck came in. I mean, he was hitting trees. You could see the bushes shaking before he get to you. He was just hitting them so hard, and I was like, oh man. So, and I couldn't stand up because this buck, he had other bucks with him. It was like a 6-pointer, a smaller buck, and a little 8-pointer. So, I'm sitting there, and these bucks were kind of facing me in a way. So I'm sitting there, and it's kind of warm out here. So excuse me. And I'm sitting there waiting. I'm sitting there waiting. So all of a sudden he show up. I mean, he's tall. Everything's symmetrical. He's big 12. Never seen him. And I was like, oh man, he's nice. He's like a 180. So I finally got to stand up. It was just getting ready to get dark. I finally got to stand up. This was back in 2013. 2013. So I stood up, and he started eating acorns or whatever he was eating, and then all of a sudden he was quartering away from me. So I drew the bow back, anchored, put the pin. He was quartering away. I just put that pin at like that second rib, third rib, hit the release. As soon as I hit the release, this deer ducked. And I'm thinking, man. So let me tell you, this deer was around 25 yards, and he ducked as soon as I clicked my release, and I hit the no man's land. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm shooting 300 and I think like 24 feet per second, and I had a 360 grain arrow, but it was a terrible setup with my bow. I messed up because I was trying to get speed, and I was trying to compromise my sound. So I really blew it because I aimed. It was around a little bit lower than mid body, and I'm thinking, okay, I hit that release. As soon as I hit that release, 324 feet per second, he drops all the way down, and I hit the no man's land. And I wounded that buck. He ran off. Never found him. I was sick to my stomach. I went back to the house. Realized after I reviewed my footage, and I didn't realize my bow was that loud, because what I always do, I like to shoot my bow on video. And when I shoot it on video, I can kind of tell how that bow's going to sound in the woods, because it dampens when you around trees versus you on camera. Because camera pick up the smallest sound. But right then and there made me think a little bit different, because when that happened to me, I had to think about it. Okay, John, what do you want? Do you want speed or do you want lack of sound? So that's when I went on and sold that Bowtech, and I bought a Bear Carnage because I saw Bear Carnage. There was advertising Bear Carnage. I'm sorry, this was back in 2011. I'm sorry, not 2013. But back in 2011, I just went back to the shop. I said, look, I need something fast and I need something quiet. So that Bear Carnage was shooting at 345 feet per second, and I thought that was super cool. And when I shot the thing, I mean, all you hear like a thump, thump, like a thump, kind of like a, to me, like a guitar sound, like thump. And it was noticeable, but it still was super quiet compared to what I was shooting. So I went on and bought that Bear Carnage. And ever since then, I've been looking for bows that's fast and dead in the hand. Because like I said, let me tell you, I don't care. I don't care if a bow's ugly. I don't care if a bow's ugly. This is a beautiful bow. I mean, by the way, this is a beautiful bow. This VXR 28 in the ambush green. But like I said, if a bow is quiet and the riser meets my standard, but like I said, it could have been 30 inches actually it could have been 31, but only difference between this bow and the 31.5 is that riser is just too long for me. I can't deal with that riser. It's just too long. I had one and I really didn't like it. I mean, to me that's a target bow, or for a tall guy. I'm 5'8", so for a tall guy, that would probably be perfect for him. But I know some tall guys still shoot the 28. I've seen them shoot it. But like I said, the premium strings, and I'm gonna have that Tetra, that all new HHA Tetra from HHA Sports with the new ring. I think that's really awesome. And like I said, the Fuse FX stabilizer, I'm just gonna run with 1 ounce instead of 2 ounce. I like that because over the years, when I was shooting my my Hayline, I had 2 ounces on it, and I was shooting out to 60 yards, but I kept wanting to go down with it, and then I took 1 ounce off, and man, I was like, boom, I was stacking them, 60 to 80 yards. I'm gonna try the 90 yards with this VXR 28, but I haven't even really shot this bow much because I've been waiting on my sight to get here, and once that sight get here, I'm gonna shoot it a lot. Because opening day is coming up in September, and this is gonna be my go-to bow this year. I'm still gonna probably hunt with my verdicts. I'm gonna hunt with that, but I'm gonna start off hunting with this 28. But like I said, this really shouldn't be called a 28 because the rods are so long. But the only reason why it's a 28 because it's just the limbs. But I think this is the ultimate hunting machine here. I used to say the verdicts is, but this here, this 28 is the ultimate hunting machine. And also, it used to be really stiff. Your first few times, you pull it back, it feels real stiff. But you keep pulling it back a few more times, it kind of loosens up a little bit, and it feels like my verdicts. It really does, and it feels like my my Hayline 6. But like I said, once again, Matthews has a great finish on this bow here, and I really like this Integrate Ultra Rest. I put a new Ultra Rest on here to integrate with the dovetail. I put that on here. I really like it because you have the micro adjustments if you need to make some micro settings on here. But that's just my thing with a bow, with the ultimate bow, is speed, quiet ability. This thing is just super quiet. Because my thing is, why should you have to aim low to hit a deer? That's just that don't make no sense to me. My thing is, okay, wherever you put that pin, you should feel comfortable that the arrow is gonna hit within an inch or maybe 2 or 3 inches, because that deer is gonna react when the arrow gets in there. No, I don't care how quiet your bow is, that arrow is gonna give off some sound. But you also want to take in consideration, don't shoot real heavy, don't shoot real big broadheads. You don't have to shoot 125 grain broadhead to harvest a deer. I mean, I've shot 85 grain broadheads for a long time and harvested like 16 deer with it. And it's all about shot placement. And my thing is, I use the Rage Hypodermic. I like the no collars. I shoot those NCs, the Rage NCs, the new ones, because they don't have any shot collars on them. I shoot those because you don't have to worry about if you brush up against something and you pop the blade out. You can push the blade back in with the no collar Rage 2 blade. I really love them. That's why I harvested my second buck last year with the no collar. But I always like to use an arrow, and I'm shooting right at 393 grain. That's my total hunting setup. So I got the 100 grain Rage, and I got my my 350 maximum red, and also I use the I think it's the nitro luminop, nitro lighted knob. It's not the luminop, and it all comes out to like 393. And a lot of guys might say, "Oh man, that's real light. That's too light." Not to me, because like I said, what I did, I set that bow up where I'm shooting from 0 to 40 without elevating my pen, and it took me 15 years or 16 years to really figure out how I could shoot out at that distance without having to elevate my pen, because I use a single pen, and after I get from out to 45 plus, then I have to I have to lower my pen where it elevated. But anything from 40 in, by shooting that arrow weight, I can get to that distance. It might be a half-inch difference, but half-inch ain't gonna hurt nothing. Half-inch ain't nothing. But quiet, super quiet bow, dead in the hand bow, shootability, real accurate, easy to shoot, definitely easy to tune, is the ultimate hunting bow. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take it one more shot, and I'm gonna get out of here. It's kind of hot, so. But after I get my sight in the mail, my Tetra, I'm gonna go ahead and do a review on that, along with the total setup for the season. All right, Iceman signing out. And once again, if you don't know Christ as your Lord and Savior, I encourage you to get to know Him. He is awesome, and especially through this pandemic, there's a lot of people that's terrified, in fear. They wearing masks in the car, they wearing masks everywhere. And I just pray that God remove that fear from that particular person or those people, and they just go ahead and just do what He said do, because all He got to do is be in your life. Because I'm gonna tell you, if you allow Him to wrap His arms around you, you won't have that kind of fear. You will just walk around. And I'm not saying don't use wisdom, because you should use wisdom in these times, because there is something out there, and I don't believe it's Corona. I believe it's the devil, where he's just attacking people. Like the Bible says, the devil go around like a roaring lion. He's just seeking out people, and he tries to devour them. And that's exactly what he's trying to do, devour people. And he's just taking people out. That's just my thing. I don't believe it's no virus that's taking people out. I think it's just the devil, where God is allowing the devil to take certain people out, because God is tired, and time is definitely winding up, and He's telling people to do things over and over again, and He's telling people not to be greedy. He's telling people not to commit adultery. He's telling people stop getting in and out of all these marriages, and their spouses are still living. And He's just telling people just to love on Him. He's telling these churches to stop wasting money on these big homes and cars and fancy cars and suits. He said, okay, Bob says, bring the money into the storehouse. He want these ministers to actually bring the money into the storehouse and keep it in the storehouse, not take it to your house. He says keep it in the storehouse. But there's a lot of people that's not doing that. And I really believe that's the reason why God has allowed the enemy to come through and just take people out. I mean, that's just the way I believe, and the way I feel. Because when you're a minister of the gospel, you're supposed to listen to God, even if you're a Christian. But let me back up. We're all considered ministers after we get saved through Christ. We're called to minister to somebody. But it's just time is critical, and it's time out for people just doing everything that they want to do and not reverencing God, not taking care of His sanctuary, not taking care of His people. There's a lot of ministers out there that just, like I said, are using their money for self-gain, and they get money from people. They say, oh yeah, if you give this money to the church, God will give you this. And God didn't say that, because just like He told the two And Luke, I think it's Luke 9, he said, go 2 by 2 and take nothing for your journey. And I don't think that you're supposed to, even when a minister marry a couple, he's not supposed to have a fee on marrying somebody. He's supposed to marry them for free. And if they decide to give him a love offering, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But you don't walk up into somebody's camp and expect for them to pay you for God's services. Okay? Well, I guess I had to vent a little bit. But anyway, I hope and pray that you guys have a safe season this year. And like I said, I always say this, and I can't stress it enough. Please wear your safety harness when you go on a trip, because there's so many people that's home that love you, and they want to see you come back home. They already know it's dangerous being in the tree stand in the first place, but at least be responsible enough to wear a safety harness. I mean, even you just go to the Army Navy store in Stockbridge, Georgia, and pick out a safety harness. You probably can get a safety harness for $29, $30, maybe $100 when you're talking about high-end safety harnesses. But it doesn't take much to be safe. It doesn't take much to be safe. And when you do harvest a buck, it is a bonus. That's a bonus, but it's not about all that. It's not about, oh yeah, I got a nice buck. It's cool to get them, but it's not about all that. What it's about is just enjoying God's creation. All right, Iceman signing out. God bless you. And like I said, this VXR is VXR 28. Sorry for going back and forth in the frame here, but this VXR 28, to me, this is the ultimate hunting machine. I have no idea what Matthews is going to come out with this year, and if they can beat this VXR 28, I don't know what I'm going to do, because like I said, I didn't even think they could beat the verdicts. And because when the Halon 6 came out, I was in awe when I shot that. And then when the verdicts came out, I shot that, and I immediately told Nathan, set me up after one shot. And so like I said, this VXR, like I said, this VXR 28, I'm just blown away from just the speed and quiet, because I did chrono this bow, and I chronoed it at 317 feet per second. And me personally, if I can reach 310, 305, 310, I'm fine. But 317 with a bow this short, I'm just blown away. But like I said, to me, it's all about the riser. Don't have nothing to do with the axle to axle. As long as that riser's long enough, the bow's gonna be really accurate. Iceman signing out. Until next time, be safe. God bless. Take care.